During World War II, home defense wasn't optional, it was survival. With police stretched thin, blackouts enforced, and cities under constant threat, ordinary civilians had to protect their homes using clever, low-tech, psychological and physical deterrents. These weren't expensive systems or electronic alarms. They were brilliantly simple tactics that worked so well, many criminals avoided those houses entirely. Here are 9 World War II home defense tricks that still outperform many modern security methods. One of the most effective World War II defense tactics was making a home appear heavily occupied. Soldiers' families used multiple coats on hooks, boots by doors, and lights switching on in different rooms at staggered times. Some even left radios playing military broadcasts overnight. Burglars target emptiness. A house that feels awake feels dangerous. Why it works? Criminals fear confrontation more than alarms. Homes near military zones often used loose gravel paths around windows and entrances. Every step created unmistakable noise, especially at night when sound carried farther. Unlike modern motion sensors, gravel never failed, needed no power, and couldn't be bypassed. Why it works? Sound-based deterrents trigger instant retreat. So, instead of using floodlights, WWII homes actually relied on angled, low-mounted lights that would cast these long shadows toward doors and windows. Intruders, well, they'd end up illuminated, while homeowners could stay hidden. Some setups even used reflective metal sheets to boost the brightness without needing more bulbs. Why does it work? Because, exposure equals vulnerability. Now, rather than relying on those bulky locks, a lot of homes back then used visible steel crossbars or diagonal bracing right on the doors. These didn't just make the door stronger, they sent a clear message of resistance. Burglars, honestly, they always go for the easiest target. A reinforced door tells them it's going to take time, make noise, and require effort. Why does it work? Well, visual deterrence stops crime before it even starts. Instead of bars, WWII homes often use things like interior shutters, wire mesh, or maybe even offset wooden slats behind curtains. From the outside, the windows looked just like any other, but inside they were almost impossible to breach quietly. This way, you avoided that fortress look that might attract unwanted attention. Why does it work? Because honestly, hidden strength surprises intruders right in the middle of their attempt. So, tripwire noise systems were actually pretty common, especially out in rural areas. Folks would string up simple tripwires connected to tin cans, glass bottles, or maybe even metal scraps. Any movement would set off this loud, chaotic noise. Some families even mixed up the sounds, just so burglars couldn't guess what set it off. And, the reason it worked was simple. Sudden noise causes panic and makes people want to run. Another thing people did was create controlled entry bottlenecks. Homes were set up to force intruders into these narrow, noisy paths, like hallways with creaky floorboards, furniture arranged to funnel movement, or even angled doorways. This, really limited how someone could move, made everything louder, and gave defenders a little more time. The idea was, restricted movement makes people nervous and more likely to make mistakes. Back in those days, neighborhoods often used silent signals, like, specific lights in windows, shutters set at certain angles, or even just simple objects placed outside, to show if there was danger or if folks were ready for anything. A burglar spotting these signs knew, without a doubt, that help was only seconds away. Why does this work? Well, criminals always avoid coordinated resistance. Maybe the most powerful tactic was honestly just being deliberately vague. Homes would use inconsistent lighting, unpredictable noises, and routines that never quite matched up. Burglars, they fear uncertainty way more than a sturdy lock. Why does this matter? Because unpredictability, plain and simple, destroys a criminal's confidence. So, here's why these old WWII tricks still, outsmart most modern security systems. Modern setups usually alert you after someone's already inside. But back then, the focus was all about prevention, psychology, and controlling the environment. These methods don't need electricity, can't be hacked, cost almost nothing, and they work even if the power goes out. Most importantly, they stop criminals before they ever get inside, not after. Sometimes, honestly, the smartest security isn't digital at all. It's just human psychology, sharpened under pressure. WWII families didn't just protect their homes, they made them, well, completely unapproachable.